I'm going to go to Kaz first on this. Man United or Tottenham for the top 4. Who do you think's making it? United won again yesterday, smashed Newcastle apart, Rashford on fire, Casemiro looking brilliant. Spurs, 4 times they've dropped points, 3 defeats in 6. Who's making the top 4, Kaz?
Well, you know what? I said it on my own channel anyways, that I declare Man United will get top 4 this season. And Tottenham will continue to crumble. I will keep seeing the Dannies online, the George online, the Callums all supporting Spurs, saying with that recent tweet with Fabrizio Romano saying, quoted what Conte said about transfers. I'm not really afraid of Tottenham really being around. They're never gonna be around in the future anyways, let's face it. And it's not just me trying to be shameless, it's just the truth hurts. Whether you like it or not, you know what your owners are. You're not selling up. You know what your owners are capable of, and you know what Conte's going to want. And if you don't get what he wants, he's just going to walk. And you can't deny what I'm saying here because it's the truth. As I said, the truth hurts. Never been a big club. You never will be a big club. You'll always be that little club that's always trying to follow Arsenal. It's as simple as that.
How does that guarantee you top 4, Kaz?
Because you lot are not going.
We're not that good.
You're not that good.
At the other teams that you
are scraping results.
There's still Newcastle.
Yeah,
there's still other teams.
You're scraping results. Don't give me Chelsea, but what's it called? You're scraping results at the moment, and that's facts. And you know you've been overachieving until this moment. And you know what? The Brentford thing. You always do this thing. You go 2-0 down, come back. I tweet something, and then somehow you go and win. I didn't tweet this time. You drew. You drop points. That's all I need to know. You're dropping points. You're gonna go further and further down the table because your team lacks explosiveness. And in a Prem, you need that. The only person that you got is remotely fast is Son. And he's out of form. So what now, George? What now?
Kulusevski, I think he's quite fast down the right wing. Takes on, well, for me right now, one of the best right wingers in the Premier League, performance-wise, and the way that he's actually playing. If you watch the way that he carries our attack. Yes, at the moment, Tottenham aren't playing very good. We are having a bad spell over the past couple months. The team has looked a bit lackluster, and Conte is sometimes struggling to find solutions. But as we all know, the January window is coming up. We aren't expecting massive changes, but we are expecting changes. We are having players come back from injuries, and things are going to get better. I guess that's all we can say. Things are going to get better. Conte is finding the best team, and he does have his set of 11 players that he wants to play. And unfortunately, they're just not available at the moment. The team we drew to, Brentford away, is not a hard game. I think the stat is that since Brentford have been promoted to the Premier League, they've not lost once going 1-0 up into a game. So they are a very good team. They played a good game, and they beat us on the day, but we come back and got the result that we needed to. But Man United aren't the team that we are afraid of. They're not the team that we're battling, quite frankly. You were
the easiest 3 points we played all season at home, G.
Rashford's
you was the easiest 3 points.
Rashford's having a great spell of form, and yes, your team is looking good, but let's not forget this is Nottingham Forest. It's Nottingham Forest, Cass. You went there, you beat them 3-0 good.
Yeah, it's Nottingham Forest. Liverpool couldn't beat them either, G, but it's all right. Anyways, look, it's not just Nottingham Forest though. But no, let's go back. Let's go back, George. It's not just Nottingham Forest. It's not just Nottingham Forest. Have you beat a top 6 side yet?
Again, so we'll get to that.
Okay.
I mean, we've got a guaranteed 3-pointer right above me in I guess less than a month, so I don't need to worry about beating the top 6 side. You'll see that.
Just wait, Jordan. Can I ask just a question to Jordan? Just a real question. Let's deal with the pink porcupine in the room, which is Harry Kane. So you saw your boy miss that penalty.
I don't support England, by the way. I don't care. Let's just say this. No, if he missed the penalty for England, that's cool by me. I care about his performance as Tottenham.
No, but see, it's look. See, let me be like Charles Darwin. Let me be a scientist. Let me connect the Pythagoras for you right now. So he misses that over there. Do you think that there's going to be a mental, psychological factor? Because let's be real, that was a huge, massive moment. He bricked it. He screwed up, and he let down an entire nation. It was him solely who let down an entire nation, and he screwed up. And Southgate took the fall, but really he messed up. Yeah. How do you think that could affect it? Because let's be real, I was actually impressed that he actually managed to score. He was playing a bit like a tree trunk, which is what I expect. But do you think that there's going to be a knock-on effect in the coming months with that lingering over his mind that, man, I let down my entire nation, I let down the country as captain, and I'm the reason why my country lost to France? Is that going to be keeping him on nice? And is that going to affect his Tottenham form?
It's an amazing speech, I've hope. But again,
No, it wasn't a speech, just facts. I really speak facts. I speak fluent facts.
How he plays for Tottenham and how he plays for England are two completely different things.
Wait,
you see,
no, come on, no, Jordan, don't do this. Don't do this.
He's been back a few days, and what did he do? He scored a beautiful header, a proper striker's goal.
It's one game.
Again,
I'm saying that over the coming months, do you think it's going to have a
first game? I expect Harry Kane, like Conte said in his interview, that he's put the penalty past him. He's focused back on the Premier League, and we have game after game after game. He doesn't have no time to focus on that World Cup hangover. And quite frankly, I think he's put it behind him. I think he's going to focus on the game at hand and getting goals to Tottenham. And that's exactly what he done. He's coming for Haaland, and he's only a few goals off him right now.
Oh, stop it, Jordan!
Let's be real. Harry Kane, apart from that penalty miss, has been in top form this season. So regardless of what you think happened in the World Cup, it's not going to affect his performances for Tottenham.
I think that's a fair shout on Harry Kane. He did step up. He grabbed that goal. I want to speak about Man United for a second, though, because I get what you're doing, what you're saying, George. You're kind of like writing United off. We haven't been that good yet. You know, we're the only team to beat Arsenal this year. We've beaten Liverpool this year. We've had a few bad results as well. No one's denying it. But I think Man United's form is being underplayed and disrespected. And we saw that yesterday and kind of amalgamated in a tweet. And I want to get Jerry and Colleen's views on this as well. I tweeted saying that I was kind of almost speechless on Casemiro, just another flawless performance, how good he's been, how he's rejuvenated our midfield. And this is how I feel Man United are improving, and it's annoying people. Is I've been told by multiple people, as you can see in this quote tweet of mine, that Casemiro is a signing that you make to push a team over the line. You don't make signings like Casemiro in rebuilds, because in 2 to 3 to 4 years' time, he might not be at this level anymore, and we'll need to replace him. The fact that I'm now seeing rivals attacking the signing of Casemiro, underplaying Rashford's form, ignoring the fact that with our game in hand, if we win that, we go into the top 4 after most people predicted top 8 maximum. Are Man United going under the radar a little bit and being disrespected in this top 4 race?
Yeah, 100%. I think, I mean, just very briefly, because I want Jerry and Colin to talk. No, like, I was even saying to guys yesterday that, see, I've known that Casemiro has been this guy for several years, because anybody who would watch La Liga and so forth, he's a chameleon. He can be a DM, he could be a central midfielder, he can be a creator. Right now, he's arguably one of the, I may say he's probably the best all-round player right now in terms of defending, midfield work, and in the final third. And if United buy very smartly in January, now they've gotten rid of your boy Christina, United can't be ignored, because Ten Hag, he now finally has his team, and they're now actually looking like a team. So I just think that if basically January is going to be critical, if United buy well in January and he really gets guys that actually fits what he's doing, and they don't get any key injuries, especially with what Casemiro is doing and just being that kind of glue in the midfield, people are sleeping on United. They're sleeping.
Yeah,
Go on. Go on. No, I was going to ask you, like, Half Hope said that. I mean, I want to ask you a direct question about United. Signing Casemiro is now being called a mistake by rivals. How do you see that as a statement from people? Because he might not be this player in 4 years.
No, I mean, look, you can do if buts and be like, like, is it an ideal kind of, is he a player that's going to, be at United for the next 8 seasons, 9 seasons, like people expect some signings to be? No. I was in the camp, I thought, and I was arguing with Kaz, I didn't think Casemiro would do as well as he has done. I thought there'd be an adaptation period. I didn't think he would be as successful so early on, especially in Ten Hag's kind of early stint as a United manager. But he's been fantastic. Let's not beat around the bush. He's been arguably the best DM in the league. Like, if not the world, there's other leagues, but
I think he bamboozled bare people though as well. Like even myself, even pundits, even probably quite a few other than I think Hope. You said you watched him quite a lot. Look, with Casemiro, it's like I did not know he can play make. I did not know he could do all this stuff because Modric and Kroos has been doing it all for him, and I think everybody was stunned how he can do everything. Do you get what I mean? It's like even Thomas Partey to a degree in the defense. No one thought he could do DM by himself. He never done it at Atletico, but he played centre mid.
The issue is that most people, when it's in the UCL, obviously Kroos and Modric, they'll do it and he'll be a DM. But during La Liga games, Cruz might be injured, Modric might be injured. So Casemiro will now step into that role and actually do their job. So, oh wow, he can actually do Cruz and Modric's job when they're not around. So, yeah, Jared.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, I mean, no one really would have expected it. And if you're looking at someone to go and kind of stabilize the ship, I don't think you can get a midfielder better. I think it's actually been the perfect signing. It's worked out exactly how Ten Hag would have wanted it to. You were looking at that midfield, there was a gaping hole. United have needed a DM for how long now? How many seasons, Kaz?
Since Michael 2015, I'd say.
But that's my point. And you finally got the guy. Yes, there will be an issue in 2, 3, 4 seasons. He's in that age now where it might be in 2 seasons, it might be next season where he does fall off a cliff. Like his athleticism might just go completely and he's not going to be the same type of player. And then there's another question to be asked. But you have to look at it for where it is now. And if you can rebuild whilst having a Casemiro there, it makes that job a lot easier in the next two seasons or so.
Listen, I agree. I think for me, I've been very complimentary of Arsenal this year, but there are a percentage of Arsenal fans, especially, that were agreeing. The Arsenal fan that made that comment, and many that were agreeing with it. And we've had Gal pull his pants down and do this on the terrace, where it's almost there's one way to do a rebuild, and it's buy youngsters, clear out the older players, and this is the way you've got to do it. If you can get a few Casemiros in along the way that work out for you, you can expedite the rebuild process faster. And that's what I don't understand about that comment. It's almost, I get where they're coming from. In 4 years' time, he may not be this player. But what if in that 4 years we win a League Cup, an FA Cup, Europa League, back in the Champions League regularly and become title contenders? And then all you've got to do is replace that DM with another really good DM and the rest of the team and the squad is built. It almost becomes, you've won trophies, you're back to where you want to be. You've grown and developed and learned from him. It isn't the most ideal, and no one's ever going to claim that signing a player at 31 is. But it's weird to me how suddenly, probably our most consistent performing player this season outside of Lisandro Martinez is now being ridiculed, and they're trying to turn it into a bad signing. It's just it's an embarrassing attempt at trying to underplay the development of United.
I think
About to turn 31. Let's just get that little bit there.
But I think the problem that some people have with it is that if you look just like historically, United have signed their best players whilst being on a rebuild. So you look at your Pogbas, you look at your going back to Falcao's, Di Maria's. United have always been in a rebuild for a long time now, and it hasn't worked out. So when people look at that, they're like, "Oh, Casemiro's not the right player to go and come in." Now, it's worked. This one has worked out. But would you bet on getting another Casemiro in? Would it work as well?
Well, do you know what, though? This is the thing, though, and I've said it for many years. It's never been about the players we have or haven't signed. It's been about the way the Glazers run the club. And this is why when I moan, I don't care about Glazer supporters that chant Glazer out when things go wrong. I talk about proper Glazer out people like me. I've been talking about them being the problem forever. And this is what you get. They're not the problem. They spend money. And then the irony is they go, you wasted money on all these people. I'm like, yeah, they wasted the money by not following through on one particular project. What Arsenal are building right now is brilliant. If Arteta has to leave in a year's time for any particular reason, and we're not going to name the reason, but any reason he's got to go in a year. Let's just say, I'm not going to put it out there. I don't want to put it into the universe. But in a year's time, 18 months' time, 2 years' time, he's not there. I don't know. Real Madrid offer him a job and he leaves, right? Let's say he did that. His rebuild's a waste of time if the next manager that comes in wants to bring in 20 new players over the next 18 months to 2 years. The rebuild's ripped apart because you're going to take it all away again. It's about continuing in that mold for multiple years. And that element I agree with, Jerry, but that doesn't mean that Casemiro is a bad signing. It's about how the club is run. But away from Casemiro, Colin, I wanted to ask your opinion. Maybe Man United, maybe Spurs both missed out on the top 4. But out of the two teams, who's finishing higher in the league? Who's going to end up higher, United or Tottenham?
United. I think it'll be United. Just because I don't know whether it's because of a personal preference in terms of the way Tottenham play. And I think we've been saying for months it feels unsustainable, but they've still managed to be in and around the top 4. So I don't know whether that argument has any legs anymore. But when I look at squads and the way you're currently playing, I can only see United getting better. And that's to my distaste. I was really hoping with Ten Hag coming in and after the Brentford result and hoping Casemiro would be a flop, I thought, yeah, United will be in around 6th, 7th. That old culture problem that they've had for the last 8 years will come back to bite them and Conte will do what Conte does. But that hasn't been the case. United have only just got better and better. And it's starting to feel like, from the outside looking in anyway, from Tottenham, both on a performance level and what you're hearing in and around Conte and the board, that the wheels are starting to fall off. And in my mind, it feels like Conte is not going to be there much longer. So, and I'm not a big fan of a lot of the players that are at Tottenham. I think there needs to be massive upgrades in their first 11, let alone the whole squad. So I would edge it towards United. But if anyone could pick United, it's a team that has Conte as a manager. So it's just whether the board are going to back him in January, because we've heard him cry many times that he wants more players coming in. But that's my non-biased opinion, sitting top of the tree, looking down on the rest of you.